So Donald Trump was at a rally in Arizona on Friday, and he made what could be referred to as a Freudian slip. And I think it's going to be the closest thing to a concession speech Donald Trump will give in this election, and probably the closest thing we'll ever hear out of as to a concession speech for the 2020 election. Now, what am I talking about? Well, when he was at this rally event in Arizona, he referred to Tim Walz as the vice president twice. And then, in an effort to correct himself, he referred to him as the future vice president. Well, that's interesting. The election hasn't happened yet. So he's not the future vice president. He's definitely not the vice president. He's the current governor of Minnesota. And he is potentially going to be the next vice president. And I believe he will be the next vice president. And apparently Donald Trump agrees with me. Who knew? But it's just amazing that he slipped that bad. And if it wasn't for all of the other times he slipped and said very weird, bizarre things, it probably wouldn't get noticed. But he's saying bizarre stuff all the time as the signs of his diminished capacity increase. You know, at the debate, he was talking about the Haitian immigrants in Ohio eating dogs and cats, and when he was called on it, well, I saw it on TV. It just sounds like somebody who's having diminished capacity to me, and he is very limited in what he can do anymore. You know, he makes these mistakes all the time. He's slipping on words. He's pausing mid-sentence and switching sentences. He calls it the weave, and he's talking about 9 different things at once, and he thinks he can weave it all together at the very end and make it all make sense, and none of it makes sense. He goes on rambling about electric boats and batteries and sharks. He talks about the late, great Hannibal Lecter. I guess he was talking about getting water to California by turning on a giant faucet. And maybe he was making a metaphor with that, but it just came off very weird. Like, he says all these things all the time, and there's so many slips. It is a sign that he has very diminished capacity, and I don't know how anybody would want somebody with that diminished mentality that close to the White House.